Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice.
The Zanna way.
Don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in 223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Tread on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD Don't Tread on Us, free ebook How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port Don't Tread on Us for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Second hour, all about guns. As I said, we come I said many times, with freedom comes responsibility. I mean, in Arizona, we are blessed. I really believe that. That's why I live here. With the right. This is not an opportunity. This is not a privilege. It's a right to keep and bear arms. Not just to keep, but also bear arms, without any government permits anymore. Yes, of course, I suggest you to always, let's say, I don't say apply for the CCW, but at least learn. Learn. It's our duty. You know, I mean, you must learn not just to be proficient in handling a handgun, but also to know when it's legal and also moral. I mean, for me, it's important that too, to use deadly force and also comply with our Arizona state laws. So that's why my job around, here on the air, I try to at least share this opportunity to find the way you can learn. I always say, when it comes down to use of deadly force, you must be really sure what you're doing. And if you're not sure, probably you shouldn't do it. But the point is, I'm not a lawyer. Even I'm a drop-off from Rome University of Law. But for sure, I'm not a lawyer around here. And I've never been a lawyer anyway. But I like to learn. And I like to enjoy the opportunity to know from people that they know these things. That's why I bring you here the experts, the pros. And when it comes down to be a professional in the criminal defense system here in Arizona, if I had to think one name only, and I'm not telling you that because I get paid. I really believe he's a great guy. When I had to think about an attorney in Arizona to defend my life, my freedom, I would think about Marc Victor from Phoenix area. Marc, are you there?
I'm here, and I appreciate that intro. Thank you very much.
I believe that, Marc, because you're not just a typical attorney. Normally around me, when I say attorney, is a bad word. But for you, I have a lot of respect because I believe that you believe in what you're doing. You believe in our Bill of Rights. You believe in our Constitution and state Constitution. And I think you always put freedom first, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, I am first an activist for freedom. That's anybody who knows me, my close friends, my family, they know that I am pro-freedom through and through, and freedom is more important to me than money. Not to say that money's not important. I'm also a capitalist. I think people should peacefully make as much money as they can, but freedom is far more important to me than money, as I think it is to you too, and it should be to everybody.
Exactly. Before I bring you into this very important topic, I would like to, first of all, give a little bit, in few seconds or whatever time you need, to share a little bit about your background. You've been doing this for a while. You're a professional. Tell us a little bit about your firm, and also, you handle some very important cases in Arizona. Go ahead.
Well, for starters, I served in the Marine Corps and was deployed during Operation Desert Storm, and that experience, had a big effect on me and really taught me about discipline and attention to detail and all that important stuff. And I try to bring as much of that into my law firm as I can. And I've been practicing 23 years. Really, criminal defense is what I wanted to do. It's what I personally do and have been doing for the last 23 years. But my firm now does civil rights as well. We think that, when government actors get out of line, somebody's got to police the police. And we're doing a lot of that. We do a lot of personal injury, wrongful death stuff now as well. But on the criminal side, I handle major felony cases. I've done lots of first-degree murder with the death penalty alleged, all the way down to little misdemeanor cases all throughout the state of Arizona. We do state, federal, we do trial level, we do appellate stuff, state and federal. I've been to the Ninth Circuit several times, argued there and won more than once. And so, we're very, very involved in criminal defense, and we just like fighting the government here. That's what we do.
Exactly. And, I also like the fact that, you are really big, I don't want to call supporter because it's not about support, anything about, but, you believe in the Bill of Rights and especially the Second Amendment. I know that. And I watched some of your videos. I watch your activism. You don't just say things, you also live things. And I watched one of your videos where normally you do these seminars at the Phoenix Gun Show, and I really enjoy it. Was about the use of deadly force. And I tell you, this is probably for me one of the most important things because, people in Arizona have the right to carry a gun. That's great. But sometimes they forget with that right, also comes responsibility to know the law. And that's something that I really see many good people, unfortunately, get in big trouble when it comes down even just display that gun for self-defense. Can you give us a little bit of input about when is right, when it's lawful to use deadly force in the state of Arizona?
Well, it's an excellent point. And, it's a talk that I do at the gun show. It usually takes about 2 to 3 hours, but there's a way really for people to get the information that I pass out, which is really the 5 things that I've boiled down to after years and years of speaking at gun shows to gun groups and really handling lots of major felony gun-type cases where people made mistakes. I've distilled all this down to the 5 most important things, and people can get it by just simply texting the word guns, G-U-N-S, to 96,000. I think that's what it is, 96,000. And if you just text that, it'll walk you right through on how to get my pamphlet, which is really everything I've got to say that really on the most important issues that will really caution people. And one of the things in there is really what I want people to think about at the moment that they're pulling it out. And it's really all detailed in there. But in essence, you gotta really be willing to be prosecuted, which I think is a big deal. If being prosecuted is not something you're worth risking, then whatever it is that you're reacting against isn't a serious enough threat. So, I tell people I don't like them pushing the envelope of Arizona law because usually it's the facts that we're fighting about. I mean, these defendants, they come into my office, they know what happened, they lived through it, but different people have different perceptions on what occurred, and you start changing the facts around, you've changed the outcome. And so you got to be aware of that there may be witnesses and people who say different things. But really, I don't think people should be pulling out their guns unless there's a real imminent threat of death or serious physical injury to themselves or another person who they're willing to protect. And, there are times where Arizona law allows you to pull out your gun for lesser reasons, but although I tell people about what Arizona law says, I really don't recommend it. Just like what we sometimes call the castle doctrine, it's true that you don't have to retreat in Arizona, but sometimes it makes more sense if you can safely to just avoid the situation, being smart about your surroundings, try to avoid areas that, you might be inclined to take a gun because they're more dangerous. There are times you don't have the option, and during those times you need to think and act quickly and make sure you're proficient with your firearm. But I'm very, very cautious. I tell people all the time, carrying a firearm ought to be boring.
Yeah. You know what? I always say in the class, I agree with you. As a general rule, if you have any doubt about using deadly force, probably you should not use it. You agree with this statement?
Yes, of course I agree with that. I think if you're carrying a firearm because you're looking for excitement, you're looking for an opportunity to pull it out, if you find yourself just looking for, hey, can I pull it out now? Hey, can I pull it out now? That's probably someone who should not be carrying a firearm because, as you alluded to, there are 2 areas that I see that people ruin their lives more often than any other areas. One of them is pulling out your firearm when you really shouldn't, and the other is, of course, a DUI with an accident, drinking and driving. Yeah. Those 2 things actually ruin more lives than anything else, really, of good people who weren't intending to do anything wrong. But, when you pull out your firearm, if you're wrong about it, you're going to be looking at a mandatory prison type of a felony. And, because of mandatory minimum sentences there, it's easy for the prosecutor to extract pleas on people. And lots of times people don't want to roll the dice on a jury trial. And so it's sad. Lots of people who I think maybe could have wanted a jury trial just won't roll the dice. So really the end result of all this is you got to be extraordinarily conservative about pulling out your firearm.
And also another thing, think about it. Even if you are in the right, okay, but if you have to defend yourself in front of a criminal case, we're talking about a big chunk of money. I mean, can I say conservative at least $20,000-$30,000 to defend yourself?
At least, depending on the charge.
Yes.
If you're talking about a gun case where somebody pulled it out, if you're talking about like a disorderly conduct, which is really just sort of a brandishing a firearm and disturbing another person, recklessly brandishing it, you're probably looking anywhere between $20,000 and $35,000. If somebody says that you pointed it at another person, you're going to be charged with an aggravated assault. You could be 45 or even more on something like that, and that's normally without going to trial. So, different lawyers charge different rates on things. I certainly would discourage somebody. There are lawyers that would take these cases for $5,000 or $10,000, and I discourage people from doing that. I think you're better off with some of the public defenders, who, by the way, are very good lawyers sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I would like to say, as a general rule, because, I'm no lawyer like you are, of course. I don't even give legal advices, of course. All I do, I try to at least share the statutes and, of course, a little bit of the training I have. At least put in people's mind the mindset. First of all, the best fight is the one that you can avoid. If you can avoid it, always avoid it. I mean, we agree on that. I mean, that's the bottom line. We are peaceful people. We are not here to try to go to start wars, okay, or to play movies here, okay. But also, as a general rule, do you believe that this statement has a reasonable fear of immediate or unavoidable danger of death or serious bodily injury to an innocent person? The fact is this something that would be it as a general rule in our state, at least, I'm talking Arizona, something that would make sense to articulate as a general rule to use deadly force or display deadly force. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think if the threat is imminent and the actual threat is for death or serious physical injury, yeah, you may have no choice. And sometimes hesitating or not using deadly physical force can be the wrong answer. Sometimes you have to, you're compelled to. So, but you got to be very, very careful, because if you make a wrong judgment here by even just pulling out a firearm, you could be looking at a mandatory prison, very serious charge. And in addition to that, you got also, people sometimes forget that even if you are allowed to use force in self-defense, you can never use more than the minimum amount required to repel the attack. So, you might be justified in, pushing somebody or punching somebody. That doesn't mean you get to pull out a firearm. It's too much force.
It must be adequate force to the, of course, to the offense or to the attack that you receive. For example, let's make some specific case. Me and you, we are right now, I don't want to call Starbucks. I don't go to Starbucks anymore. We have a coffee place, okay? Having a coffee. And out of the blue, we're minding our business, and a bad guy in mask come inside the establishment with a shotgun, and he starts to scream. No, he doesn't even scream. He shoot around in the ceiling. Bang. Everybody's down. What do you think about that? Would be justifiable, the use of force? Let's say, oh my gosh, this guy already shot the ceiling, and maybe he's going to shoot us too. What do you think there in that scenario?
Yeah, you're probably okay in a situation like that. I think most prosecutors would look at that situation and say, some guy walks in and he's got a mask on, and we want to know what he's saying, but if he says, everybody get down, this is a robbery, or I'm going to shoot somebody, you got a guy who's recklessly discharging a firearm, and I think that's the kind of situation you can shoot somebody. But you never know. You can tinker around with the facts a little bit. And if the guy shoots his round and then he turns around and starts walking out the front door and you shoot him in the back, you're going to have a problem.
Exactly. That's something very important you say that, because, for example, in Nevada, was a situation similar to this. There were a couple of, let's say, robbery guys that they went to this gun shop, and, they did what they did. And when they were leaving, they were shot in the back. And that changed all the dynamics. I mean, at that point, there was no more justifiable use of deadly force, because the threat wasn't anymore immediate. I mean, honestly, it was going away. So that's something people must think about it. But
Luca, when you think of a situation like this, these questions, I get these hypotheticals all the time, and the way I hear them is, hey, Mark, I'd like you to predict for me what a randomly selected pool of jurors who we don't really know much about would think about this situation. Because if they think what you did is reasonable, you're fine. If they think what you did is unreasonable, you go to prison. You know, sometimes it's hard. All of us who fight for freedom, we get into discussions with people, and what we think is reasonable, sometimes they don't think is reasonable, and vice versa. You know, I was in court this morning, and I was talking with two prosecutors, and we were talking about the drug war. And, you know, it's hard for me to really envision how anybody could be in favor of the drug war at this point. But these two guys were, and there was nothing about anything I could say to them that they thought was reasonable. Absolutely not. So I would never want my freedom subject to what randomly selected people in the community might think is reasonable. Because some people think it's unreasonable to have a firearm at all.
Exactly. Depends on the zip code. Can change very quickly all this. You're very right. You know, what's reasonable, for example, in Mohave County may be not reasonable anymore in Flagstaff. Seriously, even if we are in the same state. You know, I always try to go back to the sources, of course. And as you said, of course, we're going to have a jury of our peers, you know, to unfortunately, let's say, interpret these laws. But I always try to also think about we have still some laws that they're supposed to give us some guidelines. For example, you know, I read here, according to our ARS, Arizona Revised Statute, the definition of self-defense. Only when someone is about to kill or maim, you can shoot at them. ARS 13404. That pretty much says, spell it out. Someone is about to kill or maim. You know, at that point, we have the right of self-defense. But there is also a defense of a third person, the innocent person. It's something, of course, very volatile there. You know, for example, IRS 13406, we have the right not just to defend ourselves, but also the innocent. For example, let's say somebody's been, I read here, for example, let's say, a very touchy could be a sexual conduct with a minor, okay? ARS 1405. I mean, that kind of touchy because, I mean, is that situation could be stopped maybe without using deadly force. I always say that first, but also can be misinterpreted. I mean, a minor can be a 17-year-old girl, maybe having sex with a 18-year-old boy. I mean, that doesn't justify for me use of deadly force. Or even, let's say, something that we have, for example, you know, and I think it's more important, something that many states and many countries don't have, like in Europe, sexual assault. I mean, somebody is assaulting a person sexually, raping her. You have the right here to defend her life, even with deadly force. What do you think about these two laws?
Well, I think 13411 is probably what you're talking about, and that's a statute, the crime prevention statute, that, you know, frankly, I'm skeptical about. I think courts are skeptical about it. If you recall, years ago, this statute was interpreted in such a way by the courts that it only applied in your home. And this is why some of the gun activists in town got together and really added a section to 411 that states essentially that it applies even if you're not in your home, anywhere you have a legal right to be. And they shouldn't have had to say that, but the reason they did is because the courts treat this, in my opinion, the courts treat this section rather hostilely. And I agree with what you're saying. I think that if you tried to shoot and kill somebody to stop them from committing the crime of sexual conduct with a minor, the situation you lay out, an 18-year-old, or let's make it a 20-year-old, having sex with a 17-year-old, because there is a defense in there for a 24-month interval between the two people, then I think that a prosecutor would say, really, you couldn't break that situation up, you couldn't stop that particular crime, something short of using a firearm, and I think that's probably an argument that would be well taken. So I'm skeptical of that section. The section that deals with using self-defense to defend a third party, that's pretty standard across the United States. Most places, states will say that if you're going to defend a third party, then you stand in their shoes. So if they could defend themselves, you can defend them. Arizona also has a section, I think it's 13204, talks about mistake of fact. And so you can defend another person, and even if you're wrong about that, you're still okay as long as if what you believed had been true, then you would have been justified in using self-defense on behalf of that third party. You're okay, and I think that's the better rule. But again, it's just always about, to me, being very, very cautious. So some people, I call them yahoos, people who are excited about pulling out a firearm and using physical force or deadly physical force. If you're a yahoo, you shouldn't be carrying a firearm because it's easy to get in trouble.
I agree. And, I always believe that normally if you're a law-abiding person and, responsible, when you're armed, you become a better person. I mean, I'll give you an example. I've been here 18 years in this country, and I never even had a speeding ticket, and I never had a fist fight. Since I started to carry a gun, I behave even better than normally I used to. And I'm not proud of it, but when I was in Italy, I used to have probably $2,000 of speeding ticket before I left. And I used to be in a fist fight since I was 11 till I left the military school. So I changed, and I think that when you understand that you have such a responsibility on a firearm, it makes you become a better person if you are a person who is responsible. And I think that's very important, what you're saying here. Now, in general, you're almost ready to go. I want to just give you the last message. You said the magic word. After, let's say, the violent confrontation, the cops arrive. What is the best advice? And I'm not going to spoil it. You say better than me. The best advice you would give to your clients, what they should say or what they shouldn't say.
Well, I always tell people to just shut up and just keep it simple. You always have an opportunity to make a statement later, and that's also detailed in that same pamphlet that I am encouraging people to text the word guns to 96,000. They'll get all that laid out there. But, one of the exceptions to what I call the just shut up rule would be, if there's nobody else around to call 911, I think you got to get that done. But you don't have to go through, and again, the law doesn't require it, but I think it's prudent and helpful to the defense for you, if you're the only person, to make that call. And you're not required to lay out all the facts of what happened, and I don't recommend that you do that, but just to say, look, there's been a shooting, please send an ambulance, here's the address, bye-bye, and hang up. I think that's perfectly fine to do that.
Okay, very good. Listen, and the last thing before I let you go, we have now, let's say, the right to use this to display deadly force in just some very specific cases, like for self-defense, to try to avoid, let's say, this sort of potential physical, damage. We're talking about the same type of situation. Tell me, you're the expert. How do you exactly interpret the new law that says that we can display deadly force? When can we display deadly force?
Well, you're talking about the section that deals with defensive display of a firearm. It's 13.421.
Correct.
And it's a fairly new section, and we don't have a lot of cases that interpret this section. But in essence, it says, it's really an attempt to let you display a firearm in response to the threat of ordinary physical force. I'm not a big fan of this section. Mm-hmm. I argue it on behalf of people, but I think it's very easy to try to invoke this section and to get in trouble. But basically what it says is you can display a firearm defensively if a reasonable person would believe that what I'd say ordinary physical force is immediately necessary to protect against another person's use of unlawful physical force or, of course, deadly physical force.
Yes.
And, then they define defensive display, which is, in essence, just simply telling a person you got a gun, placing your hand on a contained gun, or exposing or displaying a firearm in a protective manner. You can do that, but the statute doesn't tell you what a protective manner is. I don't know what displaying a firearm in a protective manner is. There's no cases that interpret that. So, I tell people if you have to resort to that section, you should be very, very careful. Make it very clear that you're doing this in a defensive way. So I like to tell people, maybe point the firearm up or down, maybe back away, maybe say something that makes it clear. Look, I'm not looking for any trouble. Leave me alone. Get away. That kind of thing. Because if somebody says you're pointing it at somebody or you're threatening to, hey, I'm going to blow your head off, something like that, you're going to have a hard time. For your lawyer's going to have a hard time convincing a jury that was displayed in a protective manner.
Yeah, and of course, I always hear these cases that I hope people can understand that if you're on the highway and somebody, let's say, is flipping you off, that's not the case to do that. Okay, I know people that went in trouble for that. I mean, seriously, it must be always a real...
Absolutely. I tell people, I try to make a bright line rule on this and say, look, if you're in your vehicle and you pull out a firearm while you're driving down the road, you're going to be prosecuted.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard for me to think of a circumstance that you're not going to be. The prosecutors just don't buy this argument that, hey, this guy was trying to run me off the road or something like that. I once had a guy on a motorcycle who made that argument. He was on a Harley and he was cruising down the road, and his argument was somebody was trying to run him off the road, and he pulled out a firearm and pointed it at this vehicle, still got prosecuted. I just tell people, if you're in your vehicle, unless somebody's firing a gun at you, and that might be different, but even then, I don't know, it seems like you could probably get away pretty easily.
Yeah.
If you pull out your firearm, you're going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, unless you have witnesses and you have everything that you can really make a strong case. I agree with you completely. Listen, Mark, I want to thank you. You got a lot of, very busy guy. Please give the information how people can reach you out, website, everything we can do to reach you out. Go ahead.
I'm super easy to get a hold of. You can always just go to Attorney for Freedom. It's attorney and then FORfreedom.com. My whole website's there, every way to get a hold of me. You can always just put Marc Victor into Google. It comes right up. But I really, for your audience, I think it makes sense for them to text the word guns, GUNS, to 96,000, and then it'll walk them right through to get the most important writing that I have on this topic.
Very good. Mark, thank you very much again. I appreciate what you do, okay? Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, that was Marc Victor from Phoenix area. I mean, I tell you, seriously, two things in life I think you should have: a good dentist and a good lawyer. And then the last thing is a good gunsmith. But we will talk about that later. I will continue this conversation about the use of deadly force and also about these new coming CCW, Arizona CCW classes. Don't go away, little break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities.
Here we go. We are back into the studios, and we're here on the air. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the second hour, the hour about guns. There was attorney Marc Victor that, I'm really excited when I bring people like him on the air because, this is, by the way, 1 hour with Mr. Victor. It's like probably, I don't know, $300 at least, okay? The fact that I can share information that at least you have an idea, because of course this is nothing. We are not trying to give you legal advices. Of course, me not for sure. I'm not an attorney, but even Mark. I'm just trying to touch generic topics. And in this case, of course, we were talking about the use of deadly force. When you can use deadly force in the state of Arizona, okay? And we were just scratching the surface. That's pretty much what we were trying to do. But the idea is, the most important thing is, or at least what I was trying to accomplish, that this is a serious matter. This is not like some action movie, where bullets supposedly fly and the good guy always wins and at the end everything's fine. No, this is not a movie. This can be very serious. Your life can be ruined. Not only you can, of course, kill some innocent person, or maybe you may use or misuse deadly force. And even if you're doing correctly, you may still pay some consequences. You may still at least have to face a jury and a prosecutor. You never know. It's not black and white, Of course, we live in Arizona and we have gun laws that for sure they are much better, I think more protecting law-abiding people, and you have the right to defend your life. You have the right to self-defend yourself and innocence. But at the same time, you always need to use the right very cautiously. That's pretty much what I'm trying to do here, okay? Give you the type of sense of even sometime just displaying a gun. We were talking with Mark. You must be sure that you can display the gun only when really you have to, not just because you want to show off or when you're trying to somehow intimidate somebody and there is no exactly the right reason. So we will go back into details. Meanwhile, I hope you enjoy Marc Victor. I really do. And I hope I'm going to have him back again. Maybe we can touch more in details, other topics when it comes down to, of course, always the use of our gun rights, okay, and our guns. Now, I'd like to share with you something that I'll be starting doing, hopefully my English was correct, at the end of the month. Something that I think I'm very excited. I'm going to start to offer free gun safety classes, sponsored by Zanna Firearms Training. Okay, it's me, at least one of my companies. And free gun safety class, there is no catch. It's really free. Guess what? Why am I doing this? Why I want to start to go around and give him my time to try to share something that probably people may know, but maybe not many know. Gun safety is something that you don't want to be a jackass. You don't want to say, oh, I know, when you don't know. If you don't know, you better say, I do not know. And there is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes there are people that would be owning guns, shooting guns for years. I met them. I met them at the range, at the shooting range. I met them at the gun shops. I even met them at their homes. And I tell you, stay the hell away from them. Because it's not just what they do not know, but also the level of arrogance that they completely don't even want to hear it. And this is sad. Because this is not like, you're arrogant with something that cannot have any type of repercussion. I mean, I can be an arrogant about, I don't know, I don't watch football, whatever, about something stupid, okay? Seriously, who cares? But when you are an arrogant, knows it all, with a gun, you're a very dangerous person to yourself and to who is somebody around you. And I really believe that a society, an armed society, can be a polite society, can be a better society, but also beside owning a weapon, you must own the knowledge. And there are not really schools out there, unless you want to pay a bunch of money, or some places they may charge you decently, but still, you're going to pay. And I always say, okay, what do I do in my life? I work hard, and I try to do my things I enjoy. And some people, for example, in their spare times, they go to churches or they go to hospitals. So they try to go, to help their fellow men out there. Okay, they go to Africa, they go to the slums, whatever that you think is good for your soul. I believe that I would like to help my fellow human being, in this case, American. In this case, of course, I live in Arizona. I would like to help you out, at least if you own a gun or if you would like to have a gun, at least to be a safer person. That's why I create these classes. And there's really no catch. Nobody's going to ask you for credit cards. Nobody asks you for anything. Seriously. If you want to give a donation at the end of the class, it's up to you. I will put a jar just for the gas money. I don't need them. It doesn't matter. It's the principle. It's up to you. Like when you go to church, nobody's forcing you to pay. You give what you can if you want. That's it. So anyway, I got the first free gun safety class sponsored by Zanna Firearms Training. And it will be happening Saturday, February the 25th. Write it down. February the 25th of this year, of course, Saturday, at the Mojave Sportsman Club in Golden Valley. Beautiful club. 3155 West Ottman Road. Okay? The class starts at 12 p.m. Okay? We have a beautiful room. All paid. You don't need to stress. Everything's done. Beautiful room. We start at 12 sharp, so comes 5 minutes early. People say, at 12 I have lunch. Guess what? Bring your lunch and you eat after. So you're getting a free class, okay? And we will end about 2 p.m. It's a couple hours. What do you expect to find in this class? This is not going to be anything about shooting. No. Don't even bring your gun. Seriously. Do not bring your gun. Do not bring ammunition. This is going to be, I will have everything we need there to create this class. And I'll show you exactly what we'll talk about this class. My goal in this class that at least one thing you will be. After this class, you will be a safer gun owner. And even if you do not own a gun, let's say I don't have a gun. Okay, you don't have a gun. That's fine. It's your right. I don't care. But at least if one day you will ever encounter a gun, could be somebody, let's say for example, you're a teacher, okay? Let's say you're a teacher and somebody brings a gun at school. Oh my God, yes, you will call the police and everything, but meanwhile, this gun, what's going to happen to this gun? The best thing would be do not touch it, but for sure, don't make mistakes that have been done in the past when some child kills himself or kills somebody else. So I will tell you how to handle the gun. We will start from, first of all, the gun safety rules, period, the foundations. You must really live by those rules. Then we will go through the shooting range rules. Maybe sometimes you may go to a shooting range. And at least I want to share with you the basic shooting range rules that you should apply no matter where you go. And then, of course, I will talk also about what we have at the Mojave Sportsman Club. It is a great club, by the way, and it's very affordable. In case you want to join it for the whole family, for the whole year, 365 days, minus, a couple of days of vacation, holidays, whatever there is, you pay about $70 or $75. Think about it. It's a steal. Anyway, the day it's free for you. You come there, you come at the room. So we will talk about how to safely also store a firearm. If you have a firearm, you want to know how to safely store it, okay? How to carry a firearm. Let's say you have a firearm, already you're carrying. This is not going to be, by the way, my CCW classes that normally, I charge $85. It's about 5 hours long, at least. Now, this is about, just to give you an idea, at least, don't shoot yourself in your pants, okay? Like some people did at church in Kingman. I don't want to go there. So I want to at least be sure that you do that right. Why am I doing all this? People say, why? I already told you. For me, this is my form of love, my form of activism in the sense, trying to, people like to say, give back to society. That's the way I want to do it. But also it's a sense of selfishness. And I tell you why. Because I really believe that, first of all, when I have a gun owner around me, I want to be sure that he's not or she's not a liability. I want to be sure that she does not or he does not shoot me in my back. That's very important. Okay, I want to be sure that when you have a gun and you're around others, you're not a danger. Should be pretty much good thing for everybody, right? Yes, I believe that. I see sometimes too many gun owners, especially at gun shows, oh my gosh, even just around. Scary. This is a right, as I said. But, with freedom comes responsibility. And I'm trying to offer you a no excuse. This is not something like, oh my God, I don't have $20. I don't have $50 for somebody can at least attend a class. No, this is completely free. All you have to do is show up and be silent till you have questions to ask and have a good attitude. That's it. What can I tell you more than that? So we'll talk about how to carry a firearm in a safe way, how to safely transport a firearm. Sometimes people need to transport a firearm. You want to be sure you do it right. Okay? Not, of course, for the law, because it's very important. Of course, we live in Arizona. You can carry a firearm, transport a firearm with no stress. But sometimes you cross the state lines. You want to be sure you're doing it right. Then, of course, how to handle a firearm. Not because I'm going to teach you how to shoot. This is not the place. This is not the class. But let's say, for example, a moment that you find a gun that is not even your gun, or somebody brings a gun that say, oh my God, we have a gun here. What do we do? You want to be sure at least the gun is safe. How to handle it, how to touch it, if you have to move it. If you don't know how to do it, leave it there. Nobody touches it till somebody comes that who knows what he's doing. But if you're alone and you have to do something, let's start how to handle it. Okay, in a safe way. And then comes next, how to unload it, how to check the chamber, how to load it. Even technically you don't really need it in this class, but I want to show you how to do it right. Okay, because supposedly you may have a gun or a firearm. Then I want to also show you how to safely clean a firearm. Yes, believe it or not, you can make a lot of damages if you clean it in the wrong way, in the wrong environment. And I'm not talking about damages to the gun itself. I'm talking about damages to yourself and to even people around you. Sometimes people forget that, they may still have rounds in the gun. Or they may have rounds, ammunition around the room. And bad things happen when you are distracted, that you have a gun, that you think it's empty, and you have loose ammo around. And also don't forget, you may be breathing chemical things that sometimes people underestimate. I heard stories of people cleaning their guns on the kitchen table. Scary, seriously. Anyway, and we will talk also about basic hygiene while you handle and shoot a firearm. Many other places, they don't tell you this stuff, but I tell you, if you have child, if you have anybody, even yourself, if you do this regularly, you want to be sure that you don't bring things that could be harmful to your health into your home, on you. I mean, lead exposure can be very bad, okay? Can be damaging, of course, for adults, but also can be worse for senior people, and more important, for children or unborn, okay? So that's something very important, okay? We will go through this beautiful curriculum that, of course, I created. I put it together. I mean, don't get me wrong. These are things that are already out there, but I wanted to compile it in a way that is going to be beautiful. You want to be happy. And, of course, don't ask me for money back in case you don't like it, because it's free. But at the same time, doesn't matter. Whenever I do something, I do it my best. And I'll try to offer you the best, like I do with my CCW classes. I mean, you can ask to my students. I go way beyond the minimum requirement by the state, okay? So anyway, so that's the story. We will end up the class with questions and answers, okay? Now, point, reservations only, limited seats available, okay? To reserve, you go to freegunsafety.com, freegunsafety.com. And you can find there my email, that I'll give it to you anyway, zanna@zanna.us, ZANNA at zanna.us. I need to get your reservation. We have limited seats, okay? It's free. So please help me out with that. So I remind you again, Saturday, February 25th, at the Mojave Sportsman Club, Golden Valley, free admission, great class. That's all I can tell you. Free gun safety class, okay? Hope to see you there. All right, that's Saturday, 25th. Sunday. So, wow, what you going to do Sunday, Luca? I'm going to work, and I enjoy it, okay? We will have another beautiful CCW class in Havasu City at Havasu Gun Shop, okay? I want you there. If you didn't get your CCW yet, you should do it. And I already told you why it's so important. Why I think it's. I don't want to remind you. There is an article on azccw.us. The 6 benefits why you should get, in my opinion, in Arizona CCW. We'll find out. Now, it's gonna be a beautiful class because I tell you, I may have also some single mothers showing up. That, as I said, I offer this class for single moms at my own discretion. Don't be like some lady that she's in her 70s, and I want to mention her name, of course. She called me, she instant messaged me, and she said, I'm a single mom, I want to come to do the class for free. I said, how old is your child? And she said, does it matter? Yes, doesn't matter, because when I say single mom, means for a mother who still has a child or a couple children or whatever with her at home by herself, and probably she has no resources. I went to her Facebook page of this lady. She looks like she's, first of all, I don't know, from Dynasty, the TV series, okay? All dressed up, and I don't want to pass judgment, but when I start to see all that gold flashing around, I mean, wait a second, single mom. I think probably you can afford a couple classes, more than that. So anyway, she was trying to cheap around. I said, excuse me, ma'am, no disrespect, but this class is for single mothers who have a child or at least a minor still living with them. And I want to be sure also another thing. Don't play around my words, because if I see you that you show up with a Corvette or $50,000 car, you're not going to get a free class from me, okay? I'm not the government, okay? Let me tell you this. I'm here to try to help out of my good heart people that I think and I believe they deserve it, who deserve it. That's it. I'm not trying to give work for free, okay? So that's my point. But if you're a woman who needs some help, by the way, with me also you get discretion. If you come to the class, nobody's going to know that you were having the free class. It is our personal business. Simple as that. Now, remind you this. If you want to join the class in Havasu City for the 26th Sunday, it's going to be starting at 10 o'clock, but you need to book. You need to go to Havasu Gun Shop, and you got to go there. I'll give you the phone number. Why not? Havasu, you go to Google anyway, whatever, and you put Havasu Guns, okay? Let's see, it shows up. And I give you their phone number, okay? In Havasu Guns, it is exactly located at 2115 McCulloch Boulevard, okay? Lake Havasu City, phone number 928-302-1991. 928-302-1991. You reserve directly with them, okay? By the way, there is also a special if you are a couple, husband and wife, or if you are two women married, I don't care. If you are two gays, I don't care, fine with me. All I care that you are a couple, okay? I'm not going to play around whatever sex you like. None of my business. But all I care that you are married. Let's put it this way. And I don't even care if you're married by the government. Just show me that you have some sort of, I don't know, symbolic ring or some sort of a talisman that you are a couple, okay? You like it? Good. So nobody's going to complain. Oh, I'm a gay guy. I'm lesbian. Why don't you include me? You're included too. Everybody's included. Show me that you're a couple. You get $20 off the class. That means $10 each one off. The class normally costs $85. And by the way, you get an incredible curriculum. You can go to azccw.us. You can read how much information I'm going to share with you. Okay, I'm not going to cheap around. I'm not going to just send you out fast out of the room. I want your head explodes because I want you to become the best you can be, the most responsible gun owner you can be, and more important, I want you to start the journey with me that day. Doesn't mean that after the class you know everything. No, but you will at least know what you do not know, and I will also give you for free an ebook, PDF, with all the curriculum that you've been listening to me for the last 5 hours during the class. So you have all the information, or you have all the laws. And I try to also update that for free and give it to you forever till I have my website there. As a student, you will be able to have access to this curriculum, okay, for free. So that's the story. So we have two beautiful dates. We have the class for the free gun safety class in Golden Valley, Saturday, the 25th. And then we have the AZ Arizona CCW class, February the 26th in Havasu City, exactly at Havasu Guns. That's enough. All right? Now, we've done enough with that. Wow, I talk a lot. I realize that. Let me take 1 second a break, and then we come back and we close up. And I want to talk a little bit about some other ideas for self-defense, okay? Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap, you deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com.
Here we go. Almost the end of the second hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the hour about guns. Before we go ahead with some news, I would like to share with you that I have the new upper for the Don't Tread on Us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. By the way, I don't know if you heard about it, but I would like to celebrate the U.S. Trademark Office gave us the official trademark. So it's going to read like that. Don't Tread on Us, the Freedom Rifle. And yes, I got kind of excited. Normally, it's not exactly super easy to get this trademark, especially I'm talking about the trademark that works for the country, not just for one state. So I was very happy. Why? Because I'm working very hard to create a very unique product that I believe it's, in its own way, it's unique. People say, but what the heck, it's just another AR-15. Yes or no? Yes, there are billions of AR-15s out there, and that's great. I like that. Myself, I own several AR-15s, different brands. I go from, Armalite to Bushmaster, whatever, DPMS, whatever. But the point is, what I liked about this AR-15, it is, first of all, it works. It works in its own simplicity. It works always. And it is very affordable. I want to do something that it's affordable for the working man, working woman. You don't need to wait for Christmas or, when they do layaway, stuff like that. It is just $499. And it's complete. Okay? And it's made in the US. And it gives you also, by the way, you have lifetime warranty on the lower. Yes, lifetime warranty. I don't even think Bushmaster gives you that. No questions asked. And I work with a Plum Crazy lower. And, when you buy this gun at the shops, you will get the upper, don't trade on us, and you will get a lower by Plum Crazy. Why I chose Plum Crazy? Because I think it's a great product, an incredible priced, and you get all together for $499. Now the important thing, I'm not just trying to get you cheap polymer lower. Sometimes, I go to the gun shows, people say, oh, it's a polymer. Ha ha ha. Guess what, idiot? Before you start to laugh, let me talk to you 1 second. Did you watch the video that you can watch, by the way, on freedomrifle.com? Go watch the video. There's a video section where we put the lower polymer on the asphalt, not on the grass or sand or tricks like that, on the hard asphalt in the middle of July, Havasu City, Arizona, okay? And we run these lowers, technically we put 3 lowers, strip lowers, on the asphalt, and we run them over with 11,000, let's say at least 10,000 pounds Humvee loaded. No even a scratch. I challenge any other aluminum lower to do the same treatment, and let's see how many times they crack. Let's see how many times they bend. You cannot use them. So right there, it's a unique piece of hardware. It's a unique piece of, let's say, can I say weapon? Yes, because at the end, for me, it's a weapon. We are the weapon, but the rifle is an extension of us. If I had to go to an environment, it can be harsh, and you may fall, or maybe under a lot of pressure, I can count on that lower. That made me feel better. Then trigger-wise, people say, oh, you have a plastic trigger, must be cheap. I have a guy that I know is a friend, at least somebody who I know, who bought one of these rifles. They don't trade on us rifle. And after not even 3 days, say, look, I want to put like a new trigger, like one of these, let's say, bump fires trigger, because I want to shoot fast. How much cost you the trigger, first of all? I said, $300. And I told him, are you insane? You just paid $500, $499 for an incredible rifle that works, by the way, that you have lifetime warranty on that trigger, that you don't even need to lubricate because it's self-lubricated. It's made of a special material that is impregnated with Teflon. You don't even need to waste the money on oil. And you want to put $300 bump fire trigger? Let me show you something. I went to the range. You can watch this video online, of course, freedomrifle.com. And with a broken finger that I have, because technically I need to have a surgery on my index, but I still can shoot, at least rifle, I was able to perform 5 rounds pretty fast, semi-out, of course, the rifle out of the box, not tricking, nothing, not any type of modification, straight out of the box. 5 rounds, exactly 1 second. Not bad for a broken finger, okay? Without even warming up, okay? How fast more you can go, semi-out? Seriously. I know that trigger is reliable. I know it's crispy, and I know that it breaks down in about 3.8, 3.9 pounds. And then we did another video with Mr. Ed Mack from Plum Crazy comparing the Plum Crazy Generation 2 trigger, breaking down at 3.8, 3.9, amazingly beautiful crisp, with the Bushmaster that I own, beautiful fancy Bushmaster, fluted barrel, all fancy up, with, you know, Vortex, flash hider, whatever, $1,200 rifle. And that sucker, the trigger breaks at about 8.3 pounds. Little difference, eh? So that's all I'm telling you. Don't get bamboozled the fact that you need to spend a lot of money to get a great rifle. That's why I put so much effort and love to create the Don't Trade on Us rifle. To put it out, to try to share with you. You know, I don't have money for advertisement for that because it's so affordable. It's going to be word of mouth, and it's happening. So anyway, I have the new uppers of the Don't Trade on Us. Right now, you can go to Havasu Guns, ready to go. Beautiful, with a new Little Magic trademark logo. Don't you love that? And you know that every rifle comes with the free bonuses. You get the free t-shirt, Don't Trade on Us. You get, of course, the free copy, parchment copy of the U.S. Constitution. You get the free downloadable CD. Think about it. Don't Trade on Us. You get access to the ebook, free magazine, and the rear sight handle A2, it's removable, it's included. It's not like one of these cheap uppers that you pay cheap and then you have to buy the extra $50 for the rear sight. Good luck. Anyway, that's the story. Okay? Seriously. Don't forget, when you buy anything I promote you here, the rifle, Zanna coffee, one of my songs for 99 cents at Zanna.us, whatever. You don't just get something beautiful that I really believe can be good also for your life. You also support this show. That's how I can keep this show going. That's how I can dedicate my time to this endeavor, I guess so. All right, guys, ready for our number 3. It's going to be an interesting hour. Don't go away. It's going to be a very hot topic. We're talking about some states where they outlaw some sexual acts. Can you believe that? In the land of the free, home of the brave. In some states, there are still laws that you could be technically in jail if you do a specific sexual act. Do not miss that. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, ready for our number 3. Ciao.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.FM Network.